Thanks for clicking on the video today, guys. We're going to be looking at a Titan Stasis build, and I've been using it for a little over a week now, and it's been really enjoyable. Actually, getting a little bit of enjoyment back in the game, which has been really good. I wanted to start with the abilities, aspects, and the fragments. So you can see there, we're going to be using the Glacier Grenade, a Diamond Lance in the aspects, as well as the Tectonic Harvest. Now, Glacier Grenade purely because we want to be smashing up the crystals, the stasis crystals that drop, and we're going to be able to generate a lot of those as well. So they'll come into play later. But you can see the Diamond Lance on rapid kills or kills with a stasis weapon, you're going to be creating a Diamond Lance. So that will really change the flow of the battlefield. You'll be able to freeze quite a few enemies and really slow the battle down to where you want to be. And the Tectonic Harvest is going to create some stasis shards, basically give you melee ability regeneration, and just make things overall a little bit easier. Moving into the fragments, we've got Whisper of Conduction, so nearby stasis shards track to your position and you get a nice little buff to your health and super. Your Whisper of Fissures, increase the damage of the size of the burst of the stasis crystals when you blow them up, so you want to be getting the full amount of damage to nearby combatants. Next one we've got is Whisper of Chill. So stasis weapon loads have a chance to create stasis shards. So along with Tectonic Harvest and the previous fragments, you're giving yourself more opportunities to create stasis shards. So really good little benefit to have. Now, Whisper of Shards is going to be Shattering Crystal, temporarily boost your grenade rate, recharge rate, which, I mean, you saw at the start there, it comes back really quickly. And along with the Tectonic Harvest, you're getting the melee energy regeneration. So works really well, quite hand in hand. And yeah, look, a nice little fragment to have. I really wouldn't suggest swapping that out. It's a real big benefit. Last one's going to be Whisper of Rending. Primary ammo weapons do increase damage to stasis crystals. So I'll go through the weapons in a sec, but that is quite important. Then we need to have that one on there because we want to be able to smash up the stasis crystals as quickly as possible because that's going to generate ability power. Now, the weapon I've chosen in the primary slot is going to be the Arrowvet. Now, this is quite a handy little SMG. Now, it might not be the strongest, but it's certainly the easiest one to get this build going. Now, you can get this one from Banshee. This one came with rewind rounds and headstone. Now, you can see rewind rounds there. When the magazine is empty, it basically refills it based on the number of hits you had. So it just keeps refilling. And headstone is basically if you kill an enemy with a precision hit, so whether that's a headshot or a crit spot, it spawns a large stasis crystal at their position. So really, really good traits there. There are other options, but yeah, look, these ones seem to synergize quite well. And speaking of synergizing, we've got the Synergy weapon mod, which creates stasis shards as well. So that's going to help out with our melee regeneration even more. Now, for your second slot there, I've just got the Combat Bow for anti-barrier. The Heavy, I've got Salvation's Grip just to generate more crystals. So you could probably swap out for, I've got a grenade launcher there just as an example, and you could use third iteration or some sort of scout in your energy slot. Probably up to you, but I've just found that these couple of weapons seem to work pretty well. The stasis crystals tend to slow down unstoppables as well, which is really good. So yeah, moving on to the armor, we've got Icefall Mantle. So this one's it's pretty key to the build, but you can use other options as well, and I'll get into that in a sec. But the Icefall Mantle, when you have stasis super equipped, rapid stasis final blows grant frost armor. So a lot of the different aspects of this build is creating as many kills as quickly as you can, and you're always generating frost armor. Now, frost armor will give you 4.5% per stack, goes up to 5 stacks. You can get up to 8, but you need a different fragment for that. So we'll just be working off the 5 stack. Yeah, you'll be smashing through that frost armor. You'll always really have it up. So you'll have max stacks, which is about 22% damage reduction, which is huge. And we're going to be using the melee font as the mod for the arms. And basically the armor charge is going to be pretty key to this build. And the melee font does stack over time with each other, so really good benefit to have. Now, the helm mods, we're looking at the thermodynamic siphon. Now this is part of the artifact. It's one of the artifact selections, so you'll need to choose that, but we'll get into that in a sec. Basically what's going to happen is rapid kills with solar or stasis weapons is going to give us orbs of power. So rapid kills is, I believe it's like 3 in very quick succession within a certain time limit. I do apologise, I don't know what the exact time limit is, but if you're ripping through them with SMGs and things like that, auto rifles, you'll be dropping orbs pretty consistently. And that is going to be key to the build as well. You probably could swap it out for the super font, or maybe if you're looking to help others, you could use powerful friends. But for ourselves to get things going what we want, that seems to work the best. Now, looking at the chest options, we're looking at charged up. So this is increasing the maximum number of stacks of armor charge by 1. And it does say multiple copies of this stack add and improve its effects. So you start off, the original amount is 3, up to a maximum of 3 stacks of armor charge. But with this, you can get up to 6. And as we saw there with the melee font, we select over it, you gain a bonus to your melee stat while you have any armor charge. So your armor charge decays over time, basically. So it works in tandem. So the more armor charge you've got, the longer it takes to decay all of it, and essentially you're going to have that bonus to the melee font and any other font that you have here. You can use grenade, you can use melee, whatever works for yourself, but this seems to work for me. So I'm going to have stacks on stacks as well. So picking up an orb of power grants you 1 additional stack of armor charge. So basically, with all the orb generation that we're getting, we're going to be able to consistently create armor charge. So it's always going to be maximum stacks, and we're going to run that alongside orbs of restoration. So picking up an orb power grants a small amount of energy to the lowest energy class ability. So it's really going to boost up a lot of, you're probably not going to feel it too much, but it will add a little bit of charge to your grenade or your melee, but it's going to be coming back so quickly you're barely going to notice. But whatever you can use to help out, I think it certainly helps. So that's going to be for our legs there. And for the mark, this is quite important. So powerful attraction, really, really important. Because the Icefall Mantle changes your class ability to a freeze burst, you can basically freeze outward with the stasis freeze and then draw inward your orbs of power. So really, really handy to have. Alongside that, we're going to be using time dilation. Now we're going to use 2 stacks of time dilation, and that's because they work in tandem with each other. And what it's going to do is it's going to increase our available time for each armor charge stack. So I believe the armor charge stack starts at about 10 seconds. Now with the additional 2 slots that we've got on top of our mark here, that's going to run that up to about 16, 17 seconds per charge. And that's going to decay very slowly. And as we looked at before, if you're picking up orbs of power, you're going to be consistently keeping your armor charge at 6 stacks, and you're going to be able to utilize the melee bonus, might be a grenade bonus that you're running, or even a health or a super, but you're going to be able to hold on to it a lot longer and just reap those benefits for a huge amount of time. And the last thing I wanted to look at was the artifact. Now there are some pretty key little things to look at here. We've got Flame Fiber and Freeze, which obviously gives our thermodynamic siphon, and that's going to be able to give us those 2 at the same time. So really good one to have. Now one with Frost, while Frost armor is active, stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability. So really good to have there. Obviously with an SMG, you want all the stability you can get. And the stasis sword gains increased resistance. Gonna have Fever and Chill. So rapid precision hits with solar weapons basically cause you to become radiant. And with stasis, you gain frost armor. So some synergy there as well. So you might be able to, if you get a precision kill with a stasis weapon, you'll get basically the frost armor charge for killing the combatant and for the precision kill. So you get 2 stacks for the 1 kill. So pretty decent to have there. For the solar, we'll probably run maybe a SMG, maybe a Mitre Mini tool. They're pretty popular at the moment, but that's going to synergize pretty well with that one. Now Frost Renewal. While you have frost armor, taking critical damage releases a burst that freezes nearby combatants. So very similar to the class ability change with Icefall Mantle. When you use it, it emits a burst of Stasis Freeze, and this is no different. So maybe not to quite the extent that you get from Icefall Mantle, but it is still pretty powerful and gets you out in a bit of a pinch. So if you're sort of struggling there, surrounded by enemies, it's going to help you out. Going to have Cauterized Darkness, so basically Stasis and Strand. So I'm not really worried about Strand, focusing more on the Stasis. So basically if they're debuffed, so if they're frozen, if you hit them with solar damage, you're going to do more damage, so really good to have there. Elemental Coalescence, basically, you create a chance of dropping more Stasis Shards, which, as we saw, Stasis Shards bring down your melee cooldown. So if you're obviously getting repeat kills with the Stasis weapon, you're getting the Stasis Shards creating there. And yeah, you want to be able to utilize that as much as you can. Now, I have made a bit of an error there. It was supposed to be Elemental Days. I don't know why I've got the Kinetic Brick. But moving on to the last column there, got Shield Crush. So when you have Frost Armor, your melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. So that's going to be a very, very common thing. You realistically, you're going to have Frost Armor all the time. And it's going to be a huge benefit. You're going to do lots of damage. And yeah, well, the melee itself as well, I'll get back into that in a sec. While Frost Armor is active, Stasis Precision Final Blows cause combatants to release a freezing blast. So yeah, look, again, lots of ways to create freezing blasts and things like that. Yeah, just overall, everything really synergizes well with the weapons, the fragments, the aspects, and even the mods. So it really works out pretty well. Now, I don't make a lot of build videos, guys, and it's not really my forte. So look, there's probably chances to, I guess, optimize this build a little bit more, but it is a lot of fun. I really recommend it. So thanks for checking it out. I'm going to leave a little bit of footage here just at the end showing just how fun it can actually be. But let me know what you guys think if you try it out, changes you make, anything like that. But if there's anything unclear, I'll try and answer some questions there. But yeah, I'll leave you guys with it. See ya.